Hello, everybody, and welcome to, what is this, episode 13? I think it's episode 13.
It's one of them.
Hello, it's Roll20 Presents The Burning Wheel. It has been several weeks since last we burned wheels, and I am really glad to be back. Though I will admit that at the present moment, my knowledge and memory of the past episodes has lapsed somewhat, even though I've taken notes. I looked at my notes and they didn't make much sense.
Do you need a sweet recap?
I think we should. I think we should recap. I think we're all
Last
gonna.
time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, previously on. Yeah, so let's do that.
All right.
Oh, you're prepared. Eh?
I'm ready. I've got my storyteller voice on.
Blue John rolls like a ink
Scroll.
parchment. Yeah,
I don't have one of those sitting around.
I do, but not in grabbing range.
Last time on The Burning Wheel, we started with Alessandra making a fuss about how cool she is in the courtyard, but approach Miro, who is inhabited by the ghost of her husband, and pretty much everyone faints, everyone being the important people, myself. Joy just freaks out. Joy, you can be important too. It's fine.
This is a highly biased recap.
Yes.
I feel like this is like the one of those episodes of a TV show where like they do the perspectives of the various characters and like it's a different day.
Previously on Roll20 Presents, Rashomon.
Yeah, so the spirit of my dead husband possesses Reza. Reza goes running off, who knows where. Joy clutches for her life to Soren's cloak, and Soren is like, get off me, what the fuck. And then Miro gets himself invited to a party without the oversight of his greedy uncle. We go to said party. Joy pantses a musician, which is pretty much the best thing that will ever happen in this entire game. I fuck up my tenuous, maybe could have been some kind of compromise with Tabitha by needing attention, because I need attention. And I flirt with a sailor, and then Reza comes in all fancy looking. Agatha tries to find food, but instead turns herself into a wolf, and then goes to try and mess with the villagers, and they're ready for her. And so she like has a fight, which is basically just let's stab each other repeatedly, and then goes running off into the woods. Was that everything?
How did we end? What was the very last
The very last thing was Reza walks in looking all hot to trot, walking like Gavril.
That's right, but not everybody noticed that.
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Just the important
I
people.
was flirting. I was flirting, and then I turned around and nobody was like, good job with the dancing. And so I was like, why aren't you paying attention to me? And I noticed that Reza was looking hot to trot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people were paying attention to, not me. Makes me a little, sad. Was there anything else I missed for you guys? Oh, Joy's gonna poison. Joy poisoned a blade.
I acquired some poison, but we don't know what it does. Because I failed in my poison roll.
Yeah, what roll was it that you failed?
So it's bad, but it's
the roll that was failed was poisons.
Yeah,
right.
Poisons was failed.
It was
it is something that will. It is something that will be effective of some kind.
Whoa! I'm seeing 2 successful D6 rolls after that.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Well, poisons might have succeeded, but something didn't. I remember.
No, I think you were only supposed to roll one of those die, because it looks like you only got 1 6, and a 5 doesn't explode, so it would have been 4 successes out of 5.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you added one. You added 1 die for something that you forgot to put in. Or like,
no, I definitely failed the poisons roll.
Yeah,
I remember that you did 2, but I'm just wondering why there's just those 2 die.
well, it doesn't matter.
It's hard to look back and
I think Adam had her roll a thing.
Oh yeah, maybe
to determine the effect of the poison. Yeah, the potency, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so you have a poison, but you don't know what it's going to do.
I've applied said poison to my knife because I agreed for it to be a contact poison when.
Right, if you would have had an ingested poison, you would have
by 1.
Yeah, I remember that now.
So.
Miro was up to some biz though. Miro, you had things you were doing.
Yep.
I believe you made some friends among the gentry.
Yeah, they like me, and they gave me some money.
Oh yeah, you got cash die.
Cash,
Was
cash,
it?
cash.
Yeah, it was
They
cash, right?
weren't
This was
fond
straight
of
up.
your game.
They was straight up like walking around with the tithing bowl.
Yep, 2 die of cash funds because you've hinted that there will be a lifestyle check.
Oh, that was the have your poison kit run out roll. Thank you, Awanla. Yeah, so yes, there's going to be some resources required soon, but
I
yeah,
got some of those because I don't have any.
good to have money for that stuff to be
Yeah.
prepared. Okay.
And I've just been being a friendly boy, like normal. Not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah,
doing anything
definitely.
untowards.
Just like normal.
Just being friendly.
Yeah.
Friendly Miro. Okay, well, I can dig it. That sounds good. Well, so let's talk beliefs and instincts and what have you. So what do you want to do? I want to talk to Andrew. What do you want to do about this whole wolf form thing? What are we doing about this?
So, here's my thinking.
Uh-huh.
Let me know how you feel about this. I get all of their baseline traits because they all have to do with being a wolf, like physically.
Yep.
So there's woodland ear, wolf snout, great lupine form, crushing jaws, and deep fur. Because those traits all make sense if I am a wolf. Wolves have equivalents for spirit binding and sorcery.
Right, but you don't know them.
Right. I don't know them. So how do we?
Yeah, so like we have to be.
They don't sound like they're any different from the standard thing. It's just like the way that wolves conceptualize them.
So as a wolf, would you be able to then like speak with wolves or use your wolf mouth to speak? Because that would be like spell components or verbal hexing and stuff, right?
So that's the question, right? Is that functionally I want it to feel like your new shape is a curse, not a like, cool, I'm a fun wolf now.
I mean, yeah. So I could not know how to do those things. I'm just asking.
Sure, yeah, and that's yeah. I'm not suggesting that that's the way we're leaning. I just want to make sure that it's like it should feel like a thing that pushes you to change back, rather than be like, cool.
Well, I can't talk to humans, which Agatha does actually care about.
I mean that's a pretty big problem for you.
Beyond that, we've just been using kind of my other skills, which I think is actually really neat. That she like doesn't have a lot of the skills that one would need to be a wolf. Just has a wolf's body. So yeah, other than those traits coming in, I think, and yet any like restrictions you want to put on me, like I can't use sorcery or spirit binding or whatever. That all is fine.
I think cercination, no. Spirit binding, yes. Art magic, probably not, because we talked about how in this world you have to learn art magic. Like it isn't something you're just like born with. Someone teaches you those things.
And so the wolves have a different way of doing it.
Yeah, definitely. The wolf.
What is theirs called? It has a cool name. Let me just.
Well, and there's might be sorcery, not art.
It's Tongue of the Ancient One.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is the equivalent of the sorcery skill.
Yeah. Okay. So in this case, there are, but again, there are no other, like we're saying they and as if there are no giant wolves in this setting. There's no like you can't like we're talking about the rules and if there were, but we have not seen there's no monstrous intelligent wolves.
Unconfirmed.
They're mythical.
They're mythical. Yeah, there may have been at some point in the ancient past, but now.
And then their spirit binding equivalent is like it's straight up just spirit binding.
Spirit binding with a different name.
Yeah, exactly. They just know the names of things and call on them in the same way. But yeah, that I can't cercinate and all that stuff makes sense.
Yeah, because you don't have the
Well, cool.
But
it's
I
hard
think
to draw cool patterns on the ground when all you have is your mouth and no thumb.
Grabbing little paws.
And then I think anything that Agatha would have like known, like obviously all your wises and the non-application of these things certainly.
I keep anything inherent to myself, and
that's right. Yeah, Exactly. You've changed playbooks.
Or just change playbooks. It's fine.
Only sort of. Okay, cool. So I guess just determining like, did we ever find like a base? Is there a base like stat like for when we have to do tests like how fast you can run and how hard you can bite?
Well, yeah, I can still just use my power, agility, etc. Like my physical stats can stay the same, and I just have these traits now, which affect a couple different things.
Okay, so you would be considered by, if there were other wolves, you'd be considered like kind of weak, right? Because
yeah, I am smart and weak.
yeah, and that can be not so much that you're like physically like frail, but you're not in your body, right?
It's real hard to get used to being in a different. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I dig it. Okay.
None of the musculature works the same way, you know. It's
Cool.
like
Yeah. So you're in a form that is not your own. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's fine. Cool. Okay. Well, let's go through and get everybody's beliefs, instincts, and traits. Joy, would you like to begin?
as per usual, I shall engage in the first listing of things.
Yes.
So my beliefs, and two of these I wrote like real quickly. So we'll see. But Megas Diptera has made an enemy. I'll confront him directly. Still, belief 1. Then I have Agata has disappeared. I don't think she's gone entirely. I'll find her and make sure she follows through on helping me. And also, Brother Miro is of a kind to me. Perhaps I will share my problems with him. And then my instincts are when anybody speaks.
Can we talk about that third belief? So, that one, I mean, so
It's a little open, and
it's
it's not
not-
likely to cause a die roll.
it's not
Yeah.
so much that it's like open. Yeah, it's like it feels like why would you share your problems with him, right? Like I think it's a thing that's on the way to a belief.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah. What is the purpose there? What would you get? How would you know you were successful at this belief?
I mean, my thought here is that like while Joy is not particularly conducive of cooperating with priests necessarily, that we had that moment that was like, oh yeah, no, I get it, man. You know, and that there's something there to like follow through on. Some kind of connection there to follow through on, but I'm not sure how to like word it as a belief necessarily. So I might I'll rework it while everything else is going on, and we'll come back to it.
Okay,
But
sure. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I think like for everyone's sake, the whole like sitting and kind of workshopping beliefs is actually a worthwhile activity, just because
oh, okay.
you know, it'll help us all kind of understand beliefs better.
So what if it was more like I don't know how I can
So
put
what
this.
is, I mean, I guess what does Joy want, and what is Miro? How is Miro going to
I mean,
provide that?
Joy is looking for more people to make sure she isn't killed. Basically, like that's the goal currently.
Who's trying to kill Joy right now?
Herself, because she has a death wish. But so maybe something like Brother Miro could be an unexpected ally. I will try and enlist his services.
Services in doing what? Like
In faithful magic.
So is that, yeah, I mean, is that the thing, right? Is it like, if Brother Miro truly has access to miracles, perhaps he can help me fight the Magus? Like, is it, you want Miro as an ally against Diptera, or you want Miro as a protector? What do you like that? Because that I think you can work with, right? Because we know that Joy is this sort of like.
I think it's more about Miro, like going to Miro after, if I survive, and trying to avoid consequence, right? Because the first thing that Joy's doing is that, like the Death Wish. I'm channeling every character I've ever played, super hard. So I think it's more about consequence than it is about like alliance necessarily. So yeah, as a protector probably is like what she's thinking. Like she's branching out to like, well, Agata could, or Miro could. I need to figure out who's gonna fucking cover my ass.
Sure. Okay. All right. So, if this is
good, but that doesn't work so far.
if this is directly about your confrontation with Diptera, yeah, I would write that in. I would create the belief around that, right?
Yeah, so like Brother Miro may be the person to go to after all is said and done, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a question of what you want, right? Like, if you have this confronting him directly thing, which you can do,
Which I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I mean, something as simple as like, I guess why would Joy think that Diptera and Miro would be at odds, like, and not buds?
Because one of them's a priest and one of them's a wizard.
Right, but we haven't established that those two things are opposed.
But he was against Agata, and all I have to do is paint Diptera as Agata, but again.
Which will be much more difficult to do, because the reason that Agatha is an outcast, I mean, besides like putting the queen in a semi-eternal slumber, besides all that fairy tale bullshit, the reason that people don't like Agatha is because she's an outsider and a witch. Diptera is in a position of like socially oriented power.
I've got it, Adam.
Yeah.
I've got it. After all is said and done with Diptera, I will go to Brother Miro and inform him of my prophetic dreams.
Okay.
Thus is securing my usefulness.
Right. Okay. So the idea here is that you want to be of value to Miro and seen as a resource or something to be protected, and you'll use your dreams. Okay.
Yeah,
so I don't think this even has anything to do with the Magus at all, because if from Joy's perspective, all is said and done, that's the Magus is dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
All right.
All right. I'll write something in and get back to you. I feel like I've taken up enough time on this.
No, it's totally okay. I mean, we're warming back up. We got lots of extra time, so it's fine. Don't worry.
Okay. My instincts are the same as always.
Okay.
When anyone speaks of God, laugh. Always keep an eye where no one can see it, and confront every boast with an ugly truth. And then my character traits are off-kilter, scapegoat, ashen, Death Wish, and Eldritch. And my die traits are Broken, Numb, Dreamer, and Lame. And my call-on traits are Aura of Innocence, Keen Taste, and The Fool.
Excellent. All right, cool. Agatha, Wolfskin.
Circle back to me because I got to rewrite it.
Yeah, you got some to do. Okay, all right. So we'll jump over you, the lady Alessandra.
One of these is probably gonna have to change, but I don't know how I want to change it yet, so I'm just leaving it for now.
Okay.
My fate farm, I refuse to be a failure. The throne of Carpathia belongs to me. The second one, this one's the one I probably am gonna have to change. I am tired of having my attention divided. Reza must leave my house. I mean, it could still work, but like, I feel like there's going to be a confrontation that will adjust like how she feels about Reza, maybe, considering. And then the third belief is, with the queen incapacitated, now is the perfect time to prove my worth. I must learn the secrets of her circle. My instincts are, when I meet someone new, ingratiate myself to them, always redirect violence away from my person, and always keep an ear open for gossip at court. My traits are your lordship, ambitious, well-dressed, independent, cosmopolitan, raven-haired, and jealous, as well as mark of privilege and rapier wit.
Excellent. Okay. So yeah. Okay. I think these are fine. I think these are good beliefs. I think you can pursue those. Okay. Cool. Good stuff. Brother Miro.
Yep. Hello. I have some beliefs. And
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So my first belief is the same. I cannot allow my vision of the future to come to pass. Reza, Agatha, and their heretic companions must be stopped. I'll find out what the witch is plotting.
Okay. So do you think that one's still, I mean, we haven't really touched on that one in several sessions, and so it behooves me to ask, is that still a priority for Miro? Is that still something that is pressing? Because it's been like 3 or 4 sessions.
Right, yes. So I think the answer is yes, because I actually saw the Angel of Winter 2 sessions ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't known what to do with it. As such, I wrote a new belief to get me towards it, because I want to resolve that. That's still important to me.
Okay.
But the more immediate thing is I am walking the path of the righteous, but have no destination. Seeking guidance from those I trust might illuminate the destiny heaven has set for me, which is a more completable one soon, or at least working towards one. And then we can get a game plan for Miro, because even if I have one, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of lining those back up a little bit. And I like the idea of involving the NPCs with that, because he's not very good at making up his own mind.
Okay.
Third belief: as a servant of the angels, I must improve the qualities of my soul to serve as a better conduit for their energies. Giving boons and aid through my faith and sorcery is a way to help others while improving myself.
Excellent. So these are all really good like hooks with bait on them for other players to try to manipulate Miro, right? Those I trust, and others who need boons and aids through faith and sorcery. Like basically what Dave is doing is advertising like, hey, I want to use these skills and my character is open for business. Come and try to convince me to use my abilities to help you. Or like set me down a path, right? Like there's nothing more dangerous than a powerful person with no direction, right? So that second belief, as tied to the third, could lead Miro down a strange new path. So I'm excited to see where those go.
Yeah. And my final belief, my zealot belief, is God is dead. I'll bring him back. For now, people must be reminded that light yet remains in our land, which I think is just a fate farm for whenever I'm doing things that are related to the general populace and being a priest.
Oh my God, Miro. Just cause apocalyptic winter and then become the divine light of the universe.
It's fine.
Whew.
Miro's path to messiahdom is clear and obvious to all who look
Every
upon.
Messiah needs a crisis. You just have to engineer your own.
That's right. You just gotta wag the dog, right?
You gotta wag the dog at him.
I mean, the great thing is that Miro hasn't done any of this on purpose, but it's working out great for him. Like, as if the patriarch saying God is dead and whatever is one thing, but then immediately to follow that up, like I'm sure there are other parts of the world where they're handling this whole dead God situation much better, but they're not also locked in eternal winter. So,
yeah,
good stuff. I like it. And what are your traits?
My instincts first.
Oh yeah, that's right. You still have those to talk about. Hit me.
My first one, which is still really important, but has actually never come up, which is very odd, is always challenge blasphemy. I was thinking about this. I think it is still too important to not get rid of.
Well, I mean, you can change what blasphemy is, right? Like, so here's the thing, right? So clear blasphemy is like taking God's name in vain, saying things like there is no God, God is weak, there's other gods that are better, that kind of heretical shit. Just broaden and deepen your ideas of blasphemy, right? Like it doesn't have to be like dishonesty could be blasphemy, hopelessness could be blasphemy, right? Like this is the great thing about it is you just get to define what it means. And so broadening that can get you in trouble, right? Where all you have to do is just be like, how dare you be hopeless in this time of darkness? You know, God demands, like, exactly. Start getting like really weird and apocryphal about it. Yeah.
Perfect. That's a very good idea.
You can always change it from blasphemy to sin, right? Like, because it starts to deepen that, like, because then you start going around telling people they're being sinful and like they're causing problems. And before it was defense, but always challenge sin or always call out sin. Something like that is a whole other, like, deeper level of pursuing. right? Being
Yeah.
inquisitorial.
I think I can definitely see that being one of the ways he goes, but I think that's going to be a result of him being pushed by someone into a specific path.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm very into that idea. Broadening that, that's good. I wanted to change this one as well, but I haven't come up with anything yet. It's my duty as a priest to impart my knowledge to others, always offer advice or an aphorism. I've been playing too passively. I need to make him be obnoxiously
advisory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can work with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I can see ways in which these things absolutely could be more troubling. But then again, also like getting rewarded for an instinct is just fate, and you, as we can see, you're drowning in a pool of fate. So
yeah, I kind of wanted to reword it so it could. There are very few situations where any of my instincts are actually going to be helpful to me, and it's nice if you can try and do both. They're all like get myself in trouble ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think the second one is a candidate for that. I'll just have a think about it. And my third instinct is never ignore a potential sign of the angel's holy machinations, like staring into the sun.
Yes, exactly.
That's pretty good.
So for instincts, like, because it's, I mean, I think it behooves us to talk about that, because your instincts, there's the suggestion in the codex is to have some guidelines about they have some guidelines around the types of instincts. So a personal instinct, like never let an elf insult me, never let them forget that I'm a noble, those kinds of instincts, right, about your character's personality. A material instinct, something about always having, and this is more for like adventure-y campaigns, but like always mend my armor before I bed down, never wear shoes, always have a knife on me, that kind of thing, something like that. And then skill-based instinct. So look at your skills, imagine how they would make your character behave, and writing an instinct about those. And this is the one that tends to be the like mechanical one, where you're like, always intimidate people who are shorter than me. When I'm in a library, do research. Always recite a poem for my lover. Like these, like look at your skills. And I think that maybe that's where one of your like aphorism or whatever ones could become a more mechanical focused one, right? Tie it to a role. So like when I see someone in doubt, offer them a piece of obscure history to bolster their spirits. Or like, you know, something like that, like pick a skill and be like, oh, now when that instinct comes into play, you're like, bam, I get to make a roll. Right?
Oh, yeah, I could. Advice for an aphorism. I can change that straight up right now to offer a soothing platitude.
Right. Exactly.
Because I need to finish learning that.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll change that right now. Well, I'll change that after we go through the traits. We can move on to Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
And my traits are demented, mad, violent, pious, tough, fur, messianic, believer, faithful, gifted, tonsured, vested, and zealot.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
time.
I dig it. All right. Great. So are you ready for us, Agatha?
Sure.
Okay. Let's talk about your beliefs and your instincts.
So belief 1, it is my duty to preserve the natural order and end this cursed winter, but I cannot do it alone. I'll return to the covens and find my sisters. This still might be a good thing for Agatha to do, so I'm gonna leave that in there.
Yeah, I'm really curious how you're going to get someone to recognize you as who you are, and I think that people who are capable of perceiving magic or doing magic-y type stuff have a much better chance of it than those who.
And it would be a very cool kind of homecoming to be like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm a wolf. City's crazy. Shit happens in the castle. You know, it's wild."
Whoa!
This form is a curse, but when I can turn to my advantage, I'll learn to live as a wolf and find food before the wilds claim me.
Mm-hmm.
And the kingdom withers in winter and creates opportunities for the wolf. I will haunt this kingdom and frighten the common folk. Still gonna do it. I'm still committed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Spooping the humans.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure out another instinct. So currently my first instinct is on the shelf. So I have never put something back in the wrong place. And when making my way in the woods, always forage with my familiar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. I like that you've set aside always speak truth to power because you can't speak.
because I can't fucking talk.
Always bark at the moon. Okay. And your traits?
My traits are always in the way, well-traveled, spooky, inscrutable, respectful of women, lupine, reclusive, vindictive, misunderstood, fey-blooded, blind, gifted, spirit familiar, essence of earth, unsteady, rat speak, forked tongue, also woodland ear, wolf snout, great lupine form, crushing jaws, and deep fur, temporarily.
Like how you have lupine and great lupine form.
Yeah,
and
you're
then-
lupine. You're super lupine. You're slupine. You got hella lupine. You're just the wolfest.
Yeah, that's me. The wolfist.
The wolfest. That's a lot of traits. All right. Cool. So, where should we begin? Where is, let's remember where everybody was at the end of the last bit. So, Elisandra and Miro are they're in the hall where the post charity dance
Feast
thing celebratory. Yeah. So the two of you were there. Yeah.
with like Gavril,
Gavril Reza.
Gavreza.
Gavreza.
Yeah. So that's where yeah, Reza has just returned, dressed more finely than we have seen him, carrying a noble bearing that we had not seen him in before as well. And then Joy, you had skulked away to make poison. Where was the last time we saw? What was the last thing we saw you doing?
I applied the poison when I got it,
Yes.
and then I was headed down the hall towards my target. Was basically the last thing.
All right. Excellent. Okay. And Agatha, you were out in the woods in wolf
Out in the woods,
form.
I had fought with a peasant man and run off. Yeah, the peasants have like wards to ward off wolves.
That's right. And you're trying to harrow them.
Yeah, I'm trying to spook them out. So we're gonna try a different tactic this time.
Okay, so let's start with the hall. Let's start with Alessandra,
Okay.
Miro, and the crowd. Yeah, you just hold on to your poisoned horse there, Joy. We'll get to you.
I've been excited for weeks.
Oh, don't worry. You'll have your opportunity. You're just like lurking. just fucking lurking. So, Alessandra, when you see Reza come in and folks begin to notice him, what do you do?
I mean, because like I'm standing there with what was her name? Astrid. Having just like finished this dance where we like tried to seduce each other.
Captain Astrid. I'll have
Captain
you
Astrid,
know.
right? And having not had the response that normally happens at the end of a round of dancing, you know, polite clapping and everyone just being like, haha, good job, people who were dancing and also people who were playing music. That's when I noticed that Reza is here. But part of me is like, I don't know, because Reza was present in the courtyard, but then left before Alessandra recovered herself enough to see. They haven't really, like, they've pretty much been like studiously avoiding each other ever since he returned from the mayor's house. I don't think that she would approach him. She would probably very like on purpose be like, oh, fine, like you're here too, like great. It's that thing that people do when they're like mad at somebody, but they're in their same social circle, and so they can't like avoid them, but they're gonna just like pretend that they're not there. And so I feel like Alessandra wouldn't necessarily be like, she doesn't know that the whatever vision that she saw in Miro has passed to Reza. And she noticed that people are paying attention to Reza in a way that they maybe don't ordinarily do, or like they're very like, oh, like surprise, surprise. But I don't think that she would be like, let me go see what's going on with this person that I don't really want anything to do with.
So the fact that he is like clearly like behaving differently doesn't.
I mean, like how clearly? Like, is he?
Like
Because last time you were just like, he walks in.
yeah, but I also said that he's moving like your dead husband. Like there's something about him that you can clearly like, it reminds you have deja vu, right? Like it elicits a response that is more than just like, hey, oh hey, it's Reza.
Oh, okay. Maybe she does like, maybe she excuses herself, like does like a polite curtsy to Astrid, and then does that.
Yeah, I mean
thing
the
where
dance
she's
is
walking
over, so
around-
you can
yeah,
you're excused to move away. Yeah.
She's walking around the room, like jumping from like group of people to group of people, but like the whole time she's super distracted and like watching Reza, like trying to get like a better read on him than like, you're different, like, oh shit, like you're different, like Gavril different, like what has gotten into you. So maybe she's like jumping from like small cluster, like, hey everybody, like let me like be looking at Reza over there, like trying to get like around closer so she can hear what he's talking about, but not like obviously walk like straight at him.
Are you trying to be inconspicuous?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Let's have you do that. So your intent is to observe Reza.
Yeah, I want to get within like listening distance of him, without him like noticing that I'm noticing.
Sure, then that's reasonable. Okay, so let me find my skill list here. Here we go. And you are being inconspicuous. Which is not. Do you have that? Is that one of the ones you do have?
Yeah, I have inconspicuous. I don't have conspicuous.
Right. Okay.
And I'm not attempting to look any lesser than my station, so I don't have any obstacle higher or whatever.
Cool. Yeah, and you're not wearing. You're not. I was gonna say you're not garishly dressed, but everyone's like a little bit garishly dressed. So okay. All right. So it's gonna be a pose. You're gonna test inconspicuous, and he's gonna test observation.
Okay, so just no ob.
Yeah, just ob 0, and I'll roll. The actual ob is both of our sets of successes. But.
All right. I don't think. I am going to choose that because, like, you're making the point, like, you're not garishly dressed, but I am the most well-dressed person in the room, and I want that to make a complication for me. So can I choose to be like, that makes it harder for me to be like sneaky and like, I mean, because like I don't know.
It's not just about how you're dressed though. Like he can see you. Everyone in the room can see you. It's not like you're being invisible. It's your behavior that's being inconspicuous. So I don't think the way that you're dressed is necessarily a factor here.
So there's never going to be a point where that's really going to be like a challenge unless I try and pass as not a noble.
You can break a tie against you.
It's not a die trait.
Yeah,
or a
you
call
want
on
to-
trait, sorry.
Right.
Huh?
Can you only use call on traits to make yourself fail? I thought the point of a call on trait was you could break ties.
So it's well-dressed is just a character trait.
It's not a call on trait.
The idea here is that you want to get fate because you're well dressed. Yeah, no, I think in this case, like fate for well dressed is it has to take the game in an unexpected direction. So the fact that you're well dressed.
Oh, I thought it was like traits have to like create complications or difficulties. Is that instincts?
That's instincts, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for a trait, you generally don't get fate. Like it's harder to aim for fate for traits because it comes up or it doesn't. Well dressed is hard to take things in an unexpected direction because
okay, I thought it was like if it creates like a difficulty or complication or something.
No, if this were like mouse guard, then that would be the case where you could like get a check for it. But
that's fine.
No, so I think I think the thing here is that it's less that he's like, oh, where did Elisandra go, and more like he's just not paying as special attention to you doing the thing you're doing.
No, that's fine. I just like I was thinking of the instincts thing. It's fine.
Okay, so. Observation. Yeah, I don't think that he has it. So I think we're gonna roll. I need to check. Possession real quick, just to see if it affects any of his stats or abilities. I know what it does to his beliefs, but. possessed. 341.
Possession.
Mm-hmm. It's 9/10 of the law.
Damn it! I was just gonna say that.
All right. Possessed by a demon, spirit, or seraph. Choose an appropriate trait to be manifest through the vessel. Right, lawbreaker. And then any other choices. Nature of the possession is determined. Lawbreaker. Lawbreaker is such a fun one. Like glass breaks around you, milk curdles, like weird shit happens.
Weird.
Wow.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, devise a separate set of beliefs and instincts. When they come into conflict, you make a will test to resist, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't affect. Okay. All right. So we're just using his. Okay.
All right.
All right. So.
I am 1 inconspicuous.
All right. So he's got double the ob, right? Because you're testing a skill against a stat. So he needs 2. Which he gets.
But
All right. So, I mean, I think that the obvious thing here is that he notices you paying attention to him. And so what does this look like, right? Like you are trying to, like, 'cause he comes in and I feel like he would just go to you directly. Like,
yeah, like I'm trying to be all like sneaky and like get around and like figure out what he's saying or who he's talking to and like whatever. And he probably is just like, yes.
yeah. So you try to be surreptitious or try to avoid him, but he just makes a beeline towards you. Yeah. So Reza, dressed finely and moving with a confidence that seems to be too both unsettlingly familiar and not of him at all. Walks up to you. And there are other people in the crowded room doing the same thing you were trying to do, like watching and listening and doing that thing where you're all in the room together and whatever, but they're trying not to seem like they're eavesdropping. And so he walks up and gives you a long look and then bows to you.
And I do like the polite curtsy back and I say, you're looking well.
And he smiles. And he says, thank you, my lady. I would not have missed your celebration for the world. I'm sorry I'm late.
It's quite all right. And she's like doing the whole, like, I didn't want to talk to you, but here we are now. So I think that they know each other well enough, and like it's not like she doesn't want to necessarily be like impolite or whatever, but like very pointedly like wants to be like, I'm saying like a lot, it's fine. She wants to ask him in a little bit more of a blunt way what inspired this apparent transformation. But I don't want it to be just impolite.
Right. It's very rude to be like, why are you suddenly so
why are
like,
you
well-dressed?
dressed like this?
Okay. So what do you say?
I think that would be it. Like what I don't think that anyone here can miss your recent change or improvement. Maybe. I don't think anyone here has missed your recent improvement in stature. What inspired this change? And I think she's a little bit hoping like to hear like, I'm getting married. Or it's like something like, I'm gonna leave your hair.
He looks at you like a bit curious and says, when I go riding, do I not wear a cloak? Do we not don armor for battle? And he gestures. He says, perhaps I simply haven't had the opportunity to dress appropriately. Thank you for giving it to me.
I think that we've been to like dinners and shit before this point.
He avoids shit like this. Like if he's not he doesn't like these things. There is no way.
No, that makes sense because Alessandra would want to be like by herself anyway.
His very presence here is weird. I think a lot of people are like, some people are like, who the fuck's this guy? And other people are like, is that Reza? He doesn't come to these things.
Right.
There's some whispering like, oh, what did she do to make him come? Like, why? Like, what? You know, like people are. There's some buzz that this is about you.
Of course. So yeah, I think she like squints her eyes a little bit. Like, you're not telling me. Obviously, you're just gonna like front like this is what you would do anyway. And I say, well, you certainly look the part. Thank you for tending. I like, what would this be? Like, this isn't in honor of her, but it is. But
I mean, not
mostly
really.
just,
Yeah, it's like a dance or dinner of. There'd be a word for it, but yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Because you're not really. It's not a celebration. It's just it's like the after party.
Yeah, it would be like, I think that she would say, I saw you earlier, when we were doing the charity shit, but you disappeared and you left Neculi. Are you?
When you say Neculi, he grins slightly and says, he says that's why I'm late. I wanted to see to it personally that he was put to bed. I think that he's in the care of servants far too often. Poor thing. The boy needs his father. And there's like a slight twinge in his like lip when he says that. Like there's some tension passes over his face.
And she does that too, where she's just like,
Uh-huh.
yes, a new father figure will be forthcoming, as I'm sure you know. And it's very much like, we had this conversation. You're not his father.
Uh-huh. I mean,
But he is.
But he is. So
no, but that's the thing, is like she gets angry and she swallows it mostly, but she says like, yeah, working on it, you know, like, yeah, I'm gonna get married and he's gonna have a father and it's not gonna be you, you know. So like a new father figure will be forthcoming, as I'm sure you remember.
You see, when you say that, like we've had this conversation or whatever, you see a familiar, the muscles in his neck tense up, and you can see his jaw tighten slightly. You've seen this look on Reza's face many times before, and he usually right after he makes his look, he lashes out at you in some way. What do? You have a moment to respond to it.
I think that like if I see him like about to like, because he's hit me before,
Sure.
and I've seen him hit other people. I think this would be the like, she takes a quick half step back, like to get out of reach, and also to kind of like open up the like, we were having a private conversation and now like, hey, remember we're in a room full of people. So yeah, she just like half steps back and she looks at him and then she like looks around.
So you don't really get a chance to like step back, look around, like you just take the half step back. And he brings his hand up, like my mic is in the way, I can't like this, but instead of going to like hit you or even do anything, he unbuckles the clasp on his like cloak, his traveling cloak, and fills the space that you've created between you by flourishing the cloak off his shoulder and then over his arm, so that no one really notices this like awkward step back that you just took. And now, so he's got his arm in front of him with the cloak and the bulk of the cloak filling that space. To anyone watching, it looks like you just stepped back to make room for him. And he smiles politely, and he says, "It seems that God has plans for us all, and if his plan for you is to be wed," and he nods his head slightly, he says, "I hope only that he give you a husband you are worthy of. And he smiles. He's still smiling. He says, "But we're not here to talk about that." Gestures around the room. Everyone is here to celebrate your charity, your good works, my lady. And you look around, you can see that the people that are that were pretending to like watch, they all kind of like do that thing where they look away or like pretend to be talking about something else.
Yeah.
What do you do?
And I think that she's kind of like, she was angry and then she was scared. And now she's kind of just like, I want to not be in this conversation anymore. So I feel like I want to be like, God is dead, you moron. But like, she wouldn't say that. I feel like what she does is she kind of just like nods a bit and then like does whatever curtsy ordinarily would be like, all right, like I'm leaving. And then like turns to leave. Like she
So I don't
like, is there like
I don't know that there is this is going to speak to the higher level social stuff. I do not think that there is a polite way for you to get out of a conversation.
Just turn around and leave.
Well, without him saying it's okay. Like, I just don't
Right.
think, like, I think you need to be like let off the hook.
Okay. I feel like she would be like, oh yes, indeed. Like this event is to recognize the charity of our house. Like she does that a lot. She has done that a lot. Like, hey, like remember? And I think it was kind of like almost instinctual for her to like, kind of draw on that line again. And then she looks around and she says, should we not be we should not be ignoring these people. Let us she's trying to like get him to instigate the like, yes, let's not be in a private conversation anymore.
Etiquette him into submission.
Yeah, I want it to be like, you're right. This is a charity event shown like to recognize like the good I did today, which of course, you know, because our house is doing so well. Obviously, not anything to do with you, but whatever. And she would kind of gesture to the room at large and be like, should we not be? And I think there is that bit of hesitation, like, please let me go.
Right. So, I mean, do you want to try to get it? Like, is there a role here that you want to try to use to get away from him, or do you want to?
Yeah. I want it to be like, because he was
Let's
like,
talk about your intent, and then I'll give you a task. Take the disengage action, and then move. And the next turn you can dash, and he won't get a social.
Early in the morning, and you're making me talk in circles.
He won't get a social attack of opportunity on you.
Yeah, can it be like proper etiquette would state that at an event where we are being like I am being recognized for charitable works, I should be like talking to more than just you.
So here's the thing. So etiquette is not a wise, so you can't like make that call.
Court wise.
But what I want to say here though is he showed up late on purpose so that like he showed up late on purpose so you're done all that shit, right? That you can't be like, I need to go and talk to this person. I haven't said hello. Like it's been an hour and a bit or more. And he showed up to be like, nope, you've said hello to everyone. You're all mine now, right? The only person you haven't spent time with is him. And
yeah, so she would basically be like, shouldn't I be like, yeah, you're right. Like this is to recognize like I should be, and then like trails off like, so her intent is that she's uncomfortable, a little bit angry, and like he just, from her perspective, threatened violence on her person. She wants to be out of this. She does not want to be like in this one-on-one conversation with him anymore.
Okay.
So maybe like she would look around and make like pleading eyes at Astrid and be like, "Weren't we just talking? You should come over and talk to me." Or like
Astrid's already like flirting with 3 other people by now. She's moved
Great.
on. She's
excellent.
she's playing you cold. Not in a mean way, but she's just like,
seduced
"Yo, girl."
the shit out of her.
I know, but she's responding in the way that she knows how.
That's fine. I just, yeah. My intent is I don't want to be in this conversation anymore.
But you don't want to just walk away.
No, because that's impolite.
God, I don't even know. I don't know. I might have to say that there is no
trapped now
appropriate
forever.
task for this. Like,
Okay, so if it's just like, what is it? Like she's like, hey, like I should be like out and about. Does he just look at her
persuade him
and
to fuck off?
so I think
Can I use a minor miracle to like just stop this awkward shit?
yeah, Dave, just you didn't cause this problem, of course. So go ahead.
just Miro comes over?
Here's the thing. He is waiting. So remember, the social part of this event is punctuated. It's turned on and off by music, right? There's dancing and there's not dancing. You are in the middle of a not dancing part, but very soon the dancing part will pick up again. And then he is going to be like, you can feel it coming like a freight train full of bad feels. He's going to be like, "Milady," and like hand off his cloak to some servant who's like lurking,
God.
waiting to be summoned to take that cloak away. And then it's dance time, and then you'll be stuck physically close to him for a little while, right? So, yeah, I don't know what as a lady of the court, what is the polite thing to do to bail out here? Like,
Find someone else for him to dance with.
Introduce him to someone.
Yeah, like, oh yes, I met
Social
Tabitha.
something.
Tabitha, come here, Tabitha.
sure, just put your dead husband's ghost inside the guy you don't like, next to the person who has a vendetta.
I don't know that.
There's a social role to be made here with some kind of skill.
Well, and that's I'm not declining that. I'm just saying I don't know what it is here because it's not you're going against etiquette. Yeah, persuade. You could use persuade on him.
Persuade seems really appropriate because it's just you trying to like be like, oh come on, just stop.
Yeah. So having left off at the like, yeah, shouldn't we be out talking to other people? And then like he's just like, or you could like, what does he respond with in fiction?
So I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were saying. Like what part was in character because a lot of this was out. So what do you say in character? So he does the flourish with the cloak. You take the half step back because you think he's going to hit you, and then it turns into something else. And he looks at you. You can hear the musicians kind of like clearing their throats and readying to begin another song. And then what do you say?
God, I just want to like basically excuse myself to go find a suitor or whatever, like to not be here, or be like, shouldn't you be like finding yourself a woman? I don't know. Like
He has one already. So what do you say to him? Or you can cede the initiative and then I will tell you
can
what
I
he
concede
says.
the initiative, please?
Sure.
I am not, my thinking is not on right now.
All right. So he turns just slightly to a servant that stands nearby, hands him his cloak, and says to the servant, "Fetch the Lady Corvidae and I some wine, would you?" And the servant is like, "Yes, my lord," and scoots away. And he smiles and he says, "Well, we've both gotten so dressed up. No reason for it to be for nothing." And he takes a step towards you. Do you step away or do you let him get close to you?
There was still that like action, like the action towards violence, but I feel like she's very cognizant of all the eyes that are on her.
This time he's getting in to scoop you. He's gonna go like get his hand ready because the song is gonna start. This is the like now we're talking and dancing part.
I feel like she's very much like she doesn't want to make an action that will lead him into further violence. And when she like said, well, I don't remember, like my brain's not on. I don't remember exactly what it was that she said that made him like, I'm gonna hit you now.
I believe you were like, I'm gonna find a good husband, and you're not him, and you're not his father, and you're just being your
right,
usual
yeah.
self.
So she's very cognizant of the fact that like he's one step away from, even with these people around, like he was one step away.
This movement isn't triggering your.
I know,
your
but
fear
she's still like cognizant of that fact, and so like if she were like no, I'm out, he probably wouldn't react very well to that either. So yeah, she would probably just be like, okay, like this is her being like, I don't want to make you upset with me.
Right. And that's
just
the
going
tension.
along.
That's the tension of the moment, is that there is no socially acceptable way for you to run off.
Yeah.
Except running off, in which case everyone would be like, what is her problem? What happened
Exactly.
to her?
Like there's no way for her to not be like making a big ol' scene and also escape Reza.
Mhm.
Is there any way you can leverage that hot captain?
I tried, and Adam was just like, she's not paying attention to you.
Yeah, I mean, you look over at her, and she's occupied with several pretty young servant girls. Yeah,
And I could bring any of that up to Reza, but like she doesn't want to make him more upset with her. The mere mention of the fact that like
well, and I think
you're not his dad, and I'm gonna go find me another husband, like made him almost hit her. So I don't think that she's gonna. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, what's happening here is Reza and Gavril are having a little battle inside, where Reza is like, oh, I hate her, smack her, and then Gavril is like, no. So they're having some problems. But yes, the idea here is that you don't have anything except flight available to you, and
she won't do that.
Sure.
So.
And just like that, you are caught up in his embrace, and the dance begins. Yeah. So Miro, you see all of that happening.
Does Miro see that Gavril is in Reza?
Miro does not have supernatural sight powers.
Okay.
I mean, he's just super in lots of other ways.
I
He
would
does
love
have
to.
fur, but
I'd love to open etiquette-wise to see if I have any idea what just happened, because I think the answer is no.
So you want to roll etiquette to see what? Like, I guess what's your intent here?
My intent is to see whether this is or see how this is significant, because I more notice the cues of everybody around me.
Right, everybody's paying attention to it now.
Than actually understanding what was happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, I don't think this is I mean, it can be an etiquette role in the sense of like understanding the deeper stuff, but I think you can tell that you're in a situation where all of these people, God, and this is so, it touches on Miro's kind of fundamental mental difference from everybody around him, in that everyone seems to understand the rules, but not you. Something is happening, and you do not get why. Everybody is having a response to it, but I don't know that you're just like, wait, am I supposed to be? This is the part where you like laugh awkwardly, you know, we're like, yes, jokes.
It's do I engage my instinct? I don't even know yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to see if you notice that like something is weird and not cool, or are you trying to see like, because it could be observation, right? Like, does Miro see this for what it is, or like, because the etiquette of the situation is being performed.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Nothing is actually wrong.
Nothing is wrong, but something is wrong. So like, I don't think it would be etiquette that would show you that I didn't want to be there. That would be like
read a person,
reading a person.
equivalent.
Right,
Yeah.
which we've talked about is not a thing. It's not possible. But there is there is the tenor of the room, which I'm happy to say yes to. Like, Miro absolutely knows something is happening that he doesn't understand.
Yes.
Other people are performing normal people behavior, and you don't get it.
Yep. I'm happy for it to be can I work out what it is, as opposed to being focused on Alessandra herself. I think that is a level too far removed.
Yes. Okay, so you're trying to understand why everybody's being different all of a sudden.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Exactly.
It's just like opening etiquette, right?
Yeah, just that feels like etiquette to me. That's actually etiquette.
Okay. What's etiquette based off?
Etiquette is based off of will and perception.
Will and perception. Perfect.
And because this is Burning Wheel, Miro does have to be like have an end in mind with this, and like have a thing that he's doing to get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
we can't just like observe and like read a sitch in Burning Wheel.
Well,
by
the
that same
intent
token, right?
the intent is that Miro gets the truth of the situation, that everyone is paying attention because Reza doesn't do this. Like he understands
right,
it
that
as
he's going to get all that.
he'll
information.
pick that up. He'll understand why stuff that no, nothing is wrong, but yes, people are interested, and this is why.
Yeah. Cool. What do you think the ob is? Probably quite low.
Yeah,
but-
I think it's fairly low. Let me see. Proper etiquette for. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just ob 1. It's just an ob 1 etiquette test. And if you fail, you completely misinterpret, right? You totally misinterpret why.
This is why I wanted to roll in the first place, in case I fail. Because
Right.
It's just interesting. Okay.
Nice. All right.
No, I'm totally fine.
Okay. So yeah, you understand that this is a courtly thing, that this is maybe partly a romance thing, it's a history thing. Like there's some personal stuff between Lady Corvidae and Reza that is being dragged out into a public venue, and everyone is like, ooh, exciting, other people's business. Right? They're all getting to see a thing that normally they wouldn't. Right? This is like you see a couple fighting in the food court. You're like, ooh, they should be having this fight at home, but I'm gonna sit here and eat my burger and be like, what's that? What?
Yeah. So Miro just turned to one of the nobles that he's been conversing with after we put the tithing plate down. It's just oh, this certainly seems to be an event of some significance.
And the noble kind of looks at you like obviously, like, what? Yes.
Yeah, and he just smiles, and I think that's kind of it. He's like, we got there. We almost understood a thing
Yeah.
that people didn't actually.
People are having a response. I understand feelings. Okay, cool.
Got him.
So so I think that's the thing, is that the Lady Corvidae, the dance begins and everybody gets distracted. The moment passes where they're like, oh, okay, now we all have to participate in this social game together. And Alessandra and Reza have a dance, and Miro, you observe the thing, and you understand why there was that moment. Cool. And let's take a break here, and we'll come back and we'll check up on the more knife having